Y'all, please, everybody stand and encourage this young man. He is about to come for the first time and deliver a public speech. And you notice in your program, it says, about Dr. King. Young Mr. Cardell Russell Hargrove, would you please come forward? Cardell.
Mic check.
Good afternoon. Today I will be reading something about Dr. King's life. Born in January of 1929, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was one of the most important voices of the American Civil Rights Movement. Dr. King was not only a social activist, but also a Baptist minister. He was famous for using nonviolent resistance to overcome injustice and unfair treatment, and he never tired from trying to put an end to the segregation laws. He was the motivating force behind essential events, such as the Montgomery bus boycott and the March on Washington, which helped bring about landmark legislation such as the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Act of 1965. Dr. King was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964 and is remembered every year on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which has been a federal holiday since 1986. Born as Michael King, his father later decided to change his name in honor of the German reformer Martin Luther. King was the middle child to an older sister, Willie Christine, and a younger brother, Alfred Daniels. King became pastor of the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama, when he was 25 years old. In one of his sermons in 1967, he stated, "Before I was a civil rights leader, I was a preacher of the gospel. This was my first calling, and it still remains my greatest commitment. You know, actually, all that I do in the civil rights, I do because I consider it a part of my ministry. I have no other ambitions in life but to achieve excellence in the Christian ministry. I don't plan to run for any political office. I don't plan to do anything but remain a preacher. And what I'm doing in this struggle, along with many others, grows out of my feeling that the preacher must be concerned about the whole man." Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Averaging speech came to be regarded as one of the finest speeches in American oratory history. This 17-minute speech was given in front of the Lincoln Memorial during the 1963 March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. In March of 1968, King traveled to Memphis, Tennessee in support of the black sanitary public works employees who were on strike for higher wages and better treatment. He stayed at the Lorraine Motel in room 306 on April 4th, 1968 at 6:01 p.m. A bullet entered into King's right cheek, crushing his jaw and then traveled down his spinal cord, finally lodging in his shoulder. King was rushed to the St. Joseph's Hospital where he was pronounced dead at 7:05 p.m. Dr. King's main legacy was to secure advancement on the civil rights in the United States. Just days after King's assassination, Congress passed the Civil Rights Act of 1968. This legislation was seen as a tribute to King's struggle in his final years to battle residential discrimination in the U.S. More than 730 cities in the United States have streets named after King. In 1996, Congress authorized the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, of which King had been a member, to establish a foundation to raise funds and to design a national Martin Luther King Jr. memorial on the Mall in Washington, D.C. King was the first African American and the fourth non-president honored with his own memorial in the National Mall area. This memorial opened in August of 2011. It's been 47 years since Dr. King's untimely death, but we stand here today to honor the memory and the life of a great man who worked tirelessly to pave the way for a united, diverse America. There is still more work to do, more obstacles to overcome, but we would not be where we are today without the struggles and achievements brought forth by this legendary man. In the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy.
the Universal Music, the best MLK choir in the country, under the leadership of Ruben Lael Griffin, I give to you the 2015 MLK Choir